All right. Have you ever gotten treated badly by a DoorDash restaurant for just walking in and saying you're here for a DoorDash order? And they either look down on you, they look at you like you had two heads, or they just treat you like crap. But why? Well, in today's video, I am going to dive into the real about some of the worst experiences we as Dashers have with restaurants. Why do restaurants think so little of DoorDash drivers? And we are going to end with what should you do when this does happen to you? The other night, I walked into a restaurant and I got a bad vibe as soon as I walked in. And it's not a restaurant that knows me by name. Almost all the restaurants at this point actually know who I am. This one keeps changing people over and over again, so you really never get to know the people who work there anyway. So I walk in and I said, "Hey, I'm here for an order for," and I said the customer's name. And the lady just like looked at me up and down. I'm like, what the heck? And then she goes, "I know who you are. You don't have to tell me you're a DoorDash driver." I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't even understand where the hostility was coming from because I just didn't get it. Anyway, so she says, "It's not ready yet. You're going to have to wait over there." I said, "No problem. I'll be right here. Just let me know when it's ready." Me and my happy-go-lucky self kill people with kindness, right? Well, a couple minutes goes by, nothing. And I see orders come in and out, and I'm like, what the heck? And customers, as soon as they walk in, they're getting seated. It's not that busy. There's like maybe 5 sets of tables that were filled out of probably like 15 or 20. So I went up to this fantastic lady again, and I said, "Hey, I'm still waiting for a blank order. Can you just give me an ETA so I can inform my customer what's going on?" And then "I told you I would give it to you when you're at," I'm like, okay, you know what? As soon as that 10-minute mark hit, I worry freed unassign immediately, and I walked out the door and I'm like, sorry, it's someone else's problem to deal with at that point. So sorry, whatever Dasher got that order. But it really got me thinking, why do restaurants treat some Dashers just like complete crap? Like, I think if I was the nicest person ever, and then this is what I am getting walking in. I can understand if I walked in and I was shoving a phone in someone's face or "give me this order" or yelling at somebody, like I would expect the same treatment back because that's how I was treating. Not that I would ever do that. But to be nice when you're walking in, respectful, and that's the way you get it back, there definitely is a reel, and we're going to get into that right now, of restaurants and how they treat DoorDash drivers, which is what sparked this whole entire video today. What is the reel? There are some truly fantastic restaurants out there that respect DoorDash drivers' hustle. They respect that we're here to get orders delivered for them, and they see us as an extension of the customer and treat us as such. And I've formed so many good partnerships over all these years of doing DoorDash that I respect and I absolutely love, and that's what keeps me coming back to a lot of these restaurants. And then you get the ones who, like the story I just told you, just look at a DoorDash driver and roll their eyes. And I feel like they think, oh, here we go again. And I feel like they're sick and tired of seeing drivers come in and out every single day or every single minute that there is a pickup for DoorDash. And that's what makes our jobs harder, right? It makes us not feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. In fact, it can be infuriating sometimes because a lot of times, I know me, I have to hold back my quick tongue a lot of times and just smile and take it like it is, until I walk out of the building and I'm waiting for that 10-minute marker so I can unassign the order and get rid of it. But it's a true thing that we as Dashers deal with. I remember this was years ago. I walked into a restaurant that I actually had a good rapport with, and I got to know the hostess there, and we were talking one day as I was waiting, and she goes, "So what do you do besides DoorDash?" And at the time I was literally doing DoorDash full time, and I'm like, "Yeah, I do DoorDash." And she goes, "No, like, what do you actually do for a living?" I'm like, "I actually drive, and I do the gig economy, and I do DoorDash." So, and then she like started questioning me, and she goes, "I don't mean to be rude, but why would you just do this for minimum wage?" And this is back when like DoorDash was like the good DoorDash we all used to love. And then I started educating her on how much Dashers actually made, and she just looked at me because she really thought that all Dashers were paid under minimum wage, and why would we be doing this? And she was making more than a Dasher to learn that not even close. So a lot of it, in my opinion, has to do with perspective of the way people look at DoorDash drivers. But did we cause some of the negativity we get from the restaurants? And that's what we're going to get into next. So why do restaurants think so little of us Dashers? Well, I think in some ways we get in the way of their customers that are really in front of them, not realizing that we're actually an extension of their customer that we're waiting for and that have actually already paid the restaurant to get their food. I feel like they just think that we're the drivers, not realizing that we represent the customer that we're delivering to. And then you have, did the bad drivers in the world ruin it for a lot of the good drivers out there? And I feel like that's an ongoing issue that we face as DoorDash drivers every single day. You know, I know if I was a restaurant, I would get really annoyed really quickly if I had people coming into my establishment and just shoving phones in my face nonstop. I would get mad every time a Dasher thought that they were above everybody else and started yelling at me because their order was late. I would get annoyed if a Dasher or Dashers keep coming up to me every minute. Is my order ready yet? Is my order ready yet? It has to get old pretty quickly. And then you get the Dashers who just don't respect the restaurant at all. You combine that, and then restaurants think that all Dashers are like that, and we're not. And I think that's where the kind of the friction comes in when restaurants see Dashers. They might have even just had one bad experience, and it has ruined Dashers going into this restaurant forever just based off of one bad driver. You know, it's really interesting. Sometimes you can go into a restaurant and have an amazing experience, and they treat you amazingly to the point where they might even offer you like a soda or a drink. I've had that happen to me a lot lately, especially during the summer. Hey, do you want a bottle of water? Hey, do you want a soda while you're waiting? Like, and you're thinking, wow, you guys are amazing. And then you get to the next restaurant, and then you feel like you're the gum on the bottom of someone's shoes with the way that they're treating you. It's a strange world when it comes to picking up orders, and I feel like a lot of times we encounter more of this when we're waiting at restaurants than when we're just saying, "Hi, John? Okay, great," and you're out the door. You have time to digest everything that's happening, and the restaurant has time to analyze and also judge drivers that are coming into their restaurants. So what should you do if you encounter situations or restaurants just like what we talked about? Well, me, I kill them with kindness, because then they can never report me to DoorDash or give me any kind of thumbs down or whatever they do on their end of the app and they can't ban me from the store just because if I kill them with kindness, they have nothing to go by, and I also squash their perception of what a dasher or what they think a dasher should really be. If it's really, really bad and there's there's cursing involved, yelling involved, and altercations involved, obviously call support and get their take on it and get them involved. At least you have it on the record and ask them how to proceed. If it's really, really bad, maybe it's your lucky day and they'll actually ban you from the restaurants. And yes, restaurants can ban dashers from ever going back there again. It's a very rare thing, but how many restaurants would you love to be banned from permanently? Go ahead, let me know which ones they are, but it's just an option. Hopefully it never comes to that, but restaurants definitely could ban dashers. The one thing I've learned over the years is I would say 90% of the restaurants that I go into, they know me by name by now. If they don't know me by name, they definitely know my face. I go in, I have conversations with them because you know what? There's two things when it comes to restaurants. Is if they see you, they get to know you, they have valuable information. They have like insider scoop that you might not know as a dasher that they can tell you. If you're new to doing DoorDash and you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of parking, I've learned where to park from talking to the restaurant employees and where they park. And a lot of it is like hidden areas that no one really knows about. But anyway, they have a lot of information that can help you as a dasher. Next is they can get your orders out quickly. If they know you, they see you, they're like, I can't tell you how many times I go in and like, oh, Kim, okay, I'll get your order right away. And unfortunately, there have been other drivers waiting, but they'll get my order out quickly because they know me, they see me, and they're like, oh, I need to get Kim's order. Let's get her out the door. Just because I've had those connections over the years. So it really does help to know restaurant managers, steady employees, and really get to know them on a personal level, especially when you're waiting. What are you doing when you're waiting for food? You know what? Chat it up with somebody and make new friends. And it actually might make your experience that much better with that restaurant. And especially ones that you go into all the time. Okay, now's your turn. Let me know your stories. Have you had bad experiences with restaurants lately? And what was the story behind it? And maybe you even had some good experiences. Go ahead, let me know. But why do you think restaurants, I'll say some restaurants because it's not all of them, why do you think that they treat dashers so poorly just for walking in and saying, hey, I'm here for, and then fill in the bank of a customer? On this channel, I do a lot of DoorDash content. I drop a video almost every single day. So if you made it this far, thank you. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe if you are new here. And if you're looking for another DoorDash video, you're going to want to check this one out next. I'll see you over there.